Okay, so yesterday we learned how to find the area of a regular polygon. As you remember, the formula for area of a regular polygon is area equals 1/2 times the perimeter times the apothem. So in each problem we do, we need the apothem and the perimeter in order to solve for the area. So in example 1, this is kind of a recap of what we did yesterday. I just want to make sure we remember. If we're looking at this regular polygon, we're given the apothem, which is 5. Then we would need the perimeter in order to solve for the area. We do not have any of the side lengths, and so the way that we would begin solving for the side length is first we would want to draw our radius from the center to the side. Next, we want to figure out what each central angle is and divide it by 2 so that I can find this angle right here. So I know that all the central angles add to 360. Then I'm going to divide that by the number of sides in my figure. So this is a triangle, so it has 3 sides. When I divide that, I get 120. And then I would have to divide that by 2 to get this specific angle, which would be 60. So this angle here is 60. Now that I'm looking at this right triangle, I have a 60 and a 90, which means this piece is 30. So it is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So in order to solve for the side, this piece right here, I know that this piece is going to be my long leg. The apothem is my short leg because it's across from the 30. And I don't really need my hypotenuse. So given that we have the short leg, I know that the formula for long leg is long leg equals short leg, which is 5, times the square root of 3. So that means that my long leg, or this half piece of the side of the triangle, is 5 square roots of 3. Now, in order to get the perimeter, I have to add all 3 sides together. So I actually need the length of this entire side. So if half is 5 square roots of 3, that means the whole is going to be 10 square roots of 3. So for the perimeter, we do 10 square roots of 3 plus 10 square roots of 3 plus 10 square roots of 3. You basically add the number in front. So it would be 10 plus 10 plus 10, which gives me 30. And we leave square roots of 3 there. Now we can plug in to solve for the area. Our area is going to be 1/2 times the perimeter, which is 30 square roots of 3, times the apothem, which is 5. I know 1/2 of 30 is 15 square roots of 3. Then I'm going to multiply that by 5. You actually multiply 15 and 5, which would give us 75 square roots of 3. And then our units are inches squared. So yesterday, all of our problems that we worked, we were given our apothem. Today, we're going to be given sides or radiuses or maybe apothems, and we're still finding the area. So let's look at example 2. So in example 2, we're given the side of this polygon. I want to draw my dot in the center and then my radius and my apothem. So I know that my apothem goes straight down to the center of the side, and then my radius goes from the center to the vertex or the corner. So when I draw my apothem, that makes a 90-degree angle. It also splits this piece in half. So now the whole side length is 8, but when it's split in half, that means this bottom piece right here is going to be 4. So we're going to need that 4 when we're solving. Since we do have the side piece, let's go ahead and find the perimeter. I know I have 6 sides, so my perimeter is going to be 8 times 6, which is 48. Now, I need to find my apothem in order to solve for the area. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the number of sides and we're going to divide 360 by that. So 360 divided by 6 is going to give me 60. Then I'm going to have to take that and divide that by 2 to get this angle right here. So that angle is going to be 30 degrees. Now, that means we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, so we're going to use our 30, 60, 90 formulas. If we're looking, my 4 is across from my 30, so that means this is my short leg. And then if I'm wanting to find my apothem, it's going to be across from the 60, so this would be my long leg. So we're going to use my short leg to find my long leg. And so long leg is always equal to the short leg, which is 4, times the square root of 3. So that means my apothem is going to be 4 square roots of 3. Now that I have my perimeter and my apothem, I can plug in and find my area. So area is going to be 1/2 times my perimeter, which is 48, times my apothem, which is 4 square roots of 3. I know that 1/2 of 48 is 24. Then I'm going to multiply by 4 square roots of 3. I know 24 times 4 is 96. Bring down my square roots of 3. So my area would be 96 square roots of 3. And then my units are centimeters squared. So in this one, first we were able to find the perimeter, then we had to use our formulas to find the apothem. Now let's look at a different case. Alright, so in number 4, the length they actually give us is the radius. So the radius doesn't give me my apothem or my perimeter, so we're going to have to find both this time. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my apothem. I want to find this piece and my apothem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let my apothem be x, and my half of the side be y. The first thing we're going to need to do is find our angle, so we're going to figure out whether we use trig or we use our special right triangles. So we're going to do 360 divided by the number of sides, and in this one we have 6 sides. So that would give me, not 120, it would give me 60. Then I would have to divide that by 2, which would give me 30 degrees. So this piece right here would be 30. So that is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. I know that y is going to be my short leg, and x is going to be my long leg, and I'm given my hypotenuse. So we're going to use the hypotenuse to find the long leg and the short leg. So first, I know that my hypotenuse, which is 20, is equal to 2 times my short leg. Now I want to isolate my short leg, so since these are being multiplied, I'm going to have to do the opposite and divide. My short leg is going to equal 10. And so this piece right here is 10, which means my entire side piece would be 20. So let's go ahead and find that perimeter before we move on. So we have 6 sides, so our perimeter would be 6 times 20, which is 120. Now we want to find the long leg, and since we have the short leg, we can use that. I know that my long leg is equal to my short leg, which is 10, times the square root of 3. So my apothem is going to be 10 square roots of 3. So now I have perimeter and apothem, so I can plug in. My area is going to be 1/2 times the perimeter, which is 120, times the apothem, which is 10 square roots of 3. I know half of 120 is 60 times 10 square roots of 3. You multiply your 60 and your 10, and so my area is going to end up being 600 square roots of 3. And my units are feet squared. Okay, I want to show you 5 because this is also special right triangles, but it is a 45, 45, 90. So I want to make sure you remember exactly how to do that. So here, again, we're given our radius, and we need our apothem and perimeter. So we're going to have to find both our half side and our apothem. I'm going to let my apothem be x, this piece right here be y. The first thing that I need to do is I need to take the number of sides and divide 360 by that. So I'm going to do 360 divided by our 4 sides. And that's going to give me 90. Then I have to divide that by 2 to get this angle right here inside. So if this is 90 and this is 45, it means this is also 45. So we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So that means that x is going to be a leg and y is going to be a leg. Remember, there's no short leg or long leg in 45, 45, 90 because both of my legs are always the same. Then 18 is my hypotenuse. So the formula for finding leg or finding hypotenuse is hypotenuse equals leg times the square root of 2. So if I plug in what I have 18 equals leg times the square root of 2. To get my leg isolated, I'm going to divide by square root of 2. If you remember yesterday, we cannot have a square root in the denominator, and the only way to get rid of that is to multiply the top and the bottom by that denominator. So when I multiply 18 times square root of 2, that gives me 18 square roots of 2. And square root of 2 times square root of 2 is just 2. Now, if I look here, I know that 18 over 2 reduces. 2 can go into 18 9 times. So I get 9 square roots of 2. So that means my apothem is 9 square roots of 2. And also, this half of this side is 9 square roots of 2. So if I wanted to find this entire side, I would have to double this. So when I double it, I get 18 square roots of 2. And so to find the perimeter there, we would have to do 18 square roots of 2 times the number of sides. So we have 4 sides. Basically, you do 18 times 4, which would give you 72, and bring down your square roots of 2. Now that we have the apothem and the perimeter, we're going to plug in and find the area. So our area is going to be 1/2 times the perimeter, which is 72 square roots of 2, times the apothem, which is 9 square roots of 2. I know that half of 72 is 36, so this would be 36 square roots of 2 times 9 square roots of 2. And the way this works is we're going to multiply what's outside together and what's inside together. So 36 times 9, that's going to give me 324. And then I'm going to do square root of 2 times square root of 2. And just like up here when we did square root of 2 times square root of 2, that just gives me 2. These are being multiplied, so I'm actually going to multiply 324 by 2. And so our area would end up being 648 meters squared. Okay, so now let's look at some that use trig. Alright, so looking at number 6, they already give me my apothem, so I can write 7 down, but I do not have anything to help me find the perimeter. So I'm going to draw my radius to make my triangle. Now I'm going to need this angle right here, so in order to find that, we're going to do 360 divided by the number of sides. So if our number of sides here is 8, so 360 divided by 8 gives me 45. But to find this, I have to divide it by 2, and that gives me 22.5 degrees. So this right here is 22.5. That does not fit 30, 60, 90 or 45, 45, 90, so we will have to use trig. Now remember, we're trying to find this half so we can find the whole and then find the perimeter. So looking from 22 degrees, I know that x is my opposite and 7 is my adjacent. So thinking back to SOHCAHTOA, the only one that uses opposite and adjacent is tangent. So we're going to do tan of 22.5 equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 7. Remember, in order to solve these, we want to make both sides a fraction, so I put this over 1, and then we cross multiply. I'm going to do 7 times tan 22, which is 7 tan 22.5 equals 1 times x, which is x. So if I plug 7 tan 22 in my calculator exactly like that, that ends up giving me 2.9. And so x is 2.9. So if this half is 2.9, that means when I add my whole right here would be 5.8. So I have 8 sides. Each are 5.8. So we do 8 times 5.8, which gives me 46.4. Now we're ready to find the area. So I know my area is going to be 1/2 times perimeter, which is 46.4, times the apothem, which is 7. When you plug that into your calculator, you should get that the area is 162.4 yards squared. So trig isn't that bad. You just want to make sure that you remember your SOHCAHTOA. All right. Let's look at 8 now. So in number 8, we're given the side. So we can go ahead and find the perimeter. I know that this has 10 sides. So my perimeter is going to be the number of sides, which is 10, times the length of the side, which is 48. And so my perimeter is 480. Now, I don't have my apothem. That's what I need to find. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my center dot. I want to draw my radius. And my, Actually, let's redo that. That doesn't look good. Let me draw my radius coming from the vertex, and then my apothem, which goes straight down to the side. Now, if this was 48 originally, when I draw my apothem and it splits it in half, it's going to be, we're going to half this. So this piece right here now becomes 24. All right, now we have our 90-degree angle. We need to find this angle here so I can figure out what the best way to find my apothem is. So we're going to do 360 divided by the number of sides, which is 10. That gives me 36. Then I have to divide that by 2 in order to find the angle that goes here. So this angle is 18 degrees. Now that doesn't fit 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90, so we're using trig again. So if I am looking from this angle here, I know that my side, 24, is my opposite, and x is going to be my adjacent. So again, the only trig function that uses opposite and adjacent is tangent. So we would have to do tan of 18 equals opposite, which is 24, over adjacent, which is x. Remember to put this side over 1 so that we can cross multiply. When we cross multiply, I get x tan 18 equals 1 times 24 is 24. We're solving for x, so we want it by itself. So since this is being multiplied, we're going to divide by tan 18. That cancels that out, and when you plug in when you plug in 24 divided by tan 18, that is going to give you 73.9. So that means that my apothem is 73.9. So I'm going to plug in to my area formula, which is 1/2 times the perimeter, which is 480, times the apothem, which is 73.9. When you plug that into your calculator, you should get 17,736 inches squared. All right, and then our last example, we are given the radius here. So the radius doesn't give me the apothem or the perimeter, so we're going to have to find both the apothem and the side. So let's go ahead and draw our apothem. So that comes straight down from the center to the side. That forms a 90-degree angle. I'm going to let my apothem be y, and I'm going to let this half of a side be x. Now, I'm going to need this angle measure right here in order to solve for x and y. So I'm going to have to do 360 divided by the number of sides here. So if you count up the sides, we have 9 sides. So 360 divided by 9, which gives me 40. In order to find this, I have to divide that by 2, and so my angle measure here would be 20 degrees. So we're going to have to use trig. Let's go ahead and label what each thing is. I know that if I'm looking from 20, x is my opposite, y is my adjacent, and 9 is my hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is the only thing that I'm given, so I'm going to have to use it to find both. So if I'm looking from 20, let's say we want to find x first. So we're going to do opposite and hypotenuse. If you're looking at SOHCAHTOA, the one that uses opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So we're going to do sine of 20 equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 9. I'm going to make both sides a fraction and cross multiply. So I end up getting x equals 9 sine of 20. So if you plug 9 sine 20 in, you end up getting 3.1 as x. So if we want this entire side, and 3.1 is only half, that means if we double it, the whole side is going to be 6.2. Now, to find the perimeter, you have to do the number of sides, which is 9, times how long the side is, which is 6.2. So when you multiply that, you end up getting 55.8. Now we want to find adjacent. So we're going to use hypotenuse again. Adjacent and hypotenuse. If you're looking at SOHCAHTOA, the only one that uses both of those is cosine. So we would have to do cosine of 20 equals adjacent, which is y, over hypotenuse, which is 9. We put them both over 1 and cross multiply. So here we end up getting y equals 9 cosine 20. When you plug that into your calculator, you get y equals 8.5. So that means my apothem is going to be 8.5. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in for area. So my area is going to be 1/2 times the perimeter, which is 55.8, times the apothem, which is 8.5. So when you plug that into your calculator, you should get 237.2 inches squared.